Hello, everyone. Hopefully we are going live, and this is Renee Rose with Spot On, and my guest tonight is Rick Jewers. Woohoo, everyone. Say hi. Welcome him. We have tried this several times tonight, and through lots of wonderful, beautiful glitches, we figured things out. And we're now going live at about 6:55, so we're just a little bit later. So if you missed it, we're going to record it, and you'll be able to see it afterwards. So, hello, Rick.
Hey, so glad to be here, Renee.
And thank you for being patient through all this.
And all of the listeners, viewers, I love you all unconditionally and more. And we are in such an amazing time right now, and it's finally coming to fruition, more so every second of every day.
Mm-hmm. Even under this retrograde, right? This has been the best Mercury retrograde ever. Even with those little, connotations that it could be problems, even that has changed. So many things have changed, like you said. The everything is different now. Everything. So anything that might have had any negativity or any kind of edges on it are all now open and capable for anything as long as you just go for it and try it.
Yeah, and if I may I suggest to, the astrologers and anyone in astrology, uh, when you think about Mars retrogrades and perhaps negative events occurring around those times, may I suggest to let's switch that up and say that positive events occur. And it's important for me to say this because as creators, uh, you create through your thought process. And if you have it ingrained and imprinted uh, as a follower of astrology that a Mars retrograde is going to have bad circumstance, well, guess what? Where you have that there, you in your mentality, you are going to energize it that, yeah, you're going to see negative things. Do you really ask ask the question, do you really need any more negative things? So perhaps, switch up your mentality is what I suggest, but everyone does what they wish.
It's the same thing, and like in astrology, you have a set of here's the positive results and here's the negative results, and
Okay.
it just depends on which one you want to choose, like all the time.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. So retrograde is really a time to recoup and revalue, evaluate, and to get your chores done. So that because if we had 3 times a year to relax, it's time to relax because that's what we were talking about, Kim and I, is that you put into motion everything and then you can't control it, right? So you have to learn to have that fine line of faith and let it go and let the universe take over. And what do you do during that time? You go take a powder, you go celebrate, you go have fun, right? And then you let everything unfold because it doesn't matter how it happens. It just matters that you put it out there and you let it happen. And we all want to control and micromanage it. And then while we're doing that, we're kind of blocking the energy. So to be able to release, to stay in that positive energy is very important. So the 3 times a year that Mercury goes retrograde is for us to relax, to get all the chores done we never have time to do, so that when the momentum of the energy goes forward again, we're ready to go out into the public eye and launch everything because we've got it all prepared instead of just flailing and doing it last minute, halfway, So there's always a positive and always a negative. And as a coach, we're constantly trying to help people understand that it's the thought, word, and deed. And the minute that you can change your mindset, like create a habit after 20, 30 days, right? To constantly stay in that positive mindset to be able to make the choices. For me, it used to always be in the moment, but so you can hear and feel the timing. But if your mouth ruins it all, what good is it? Right? So you still have to think, the love. You still have to speak the love sincerely. and then you have to go do the love, and then it comes back. And if you're putting out negative and crap, that's what we all have to kind of get past. Once we consciously make that choice to switch and change, your life changes with it. Just like learning to be in the moment and learning to celebrate, because it really matters.
More so now than ever. We have the overall energetics, if you will, the vibration and the frequency of these current timelines, that it's heightened beyond what it ever was. And having said that, where that's heightened, each individual as well is heightened.
Absolutely.
And it's so important in their choices at this time. But they also need to know that they have an option, that, the more positive they are, and, the more virtuous they are, they'll see it very rapidly and instantly projected into their reality. So they have a choice. Perhaps if we jump, as you most graciously said, with the Mars retrograde, there's a negative way you can look at it, and there's a good way. So I suggest for everyone to keep looking at the good way. You no longer need these negative ways, and you don't need to introduce them now, into your existence, unless, and into your reality, unless you need to learn to master and control them so that they're not controlling you. So everything
that's what the astrology is for. It is for us to be able to be proactive instead of reactive. And to be proactive, we get to make a choice in what's happening. And then when we get to make the choice, we can choose to make the good choice and make it the loving choice. And you're absolutely right, because I just went through exactly what you're talking about. I just went through my dark nights, and I made a choice to turn around and come back. And no matter what was going on, I still had the faith to know that as long as I'm staying here, I'll be okay. If it was a detachment to go, then that's another thing. And I think a lot of people are feeling that, right? With all these changes, sometimes it feels like you're detaching. It feels like you're leaving, but really, you're detaching from a lot of old stuff and all the things you don't need. And that's another thing about getting rid of all the stuff we don't need, because here in our country, we have an excess of stuff. And so it's really helps to get you down to minimalizing to just what you have and what's the most important in your life. You become more grateful and you really appreciate the fine things. And I don't need 4 closets of clothes and 2 loads of shoes. I need my crystals. I need my metaphysical things that make me feel good. I need my bath. There are certain things that we need, and the rest of it, I've just learned we really don't need at all. And once you get into that frame of mind and start going forward, I mean, these last 2 months have been incredible. I can't slow it down or stop it even if I wanted. And it was just a good mindset of like, I'm staying and I'm going for this. And now we didn't have the uniting last 20, 30, 40 years. We've been alone, going through a lot of this. And now with the internet, we can come and I can connect to you, and you can be my facilitator and help me, and know that when you hark your herald call, I'm going to hear it. I'm going to come, because I know you're feeling the timing and you're saying, okay, it's time. And then all of us are going, okay, all right, because we were waiting for something, right? Because we know the time's going to be right. And it is now, like you said. I have followed every time you've said something for the last year and a half. And I'm fully prepared for everything that you've said. I'm sitting here as one of your followers, and I can attest to everything that you said. The timing has been perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I'm so glad that you can hear it, and that you're a facilitator, and that I found you. And I want all my people to know you too. I've been sharing your stuff into my group and letting them get to know you. They might not understand the same way I do, but I know how important you are to this process. I know how important you are. So I want to do everything I can to share that with as many people as possible, because the things that are coming are way more, right? This is just the beginning. Some, the social media expansion, the uniting, helping each other, loving each other, and being together as a group. I can't imagine when all of us light workers pull together and then our little groups get together, what we're going to do by 2020. It's going to be amazing, isn't it?
Well, let me say yes. There's many things I could elaborate upon what you just said. First, most the ascension is ascertained. It is guaranteed. It's imminent. Nothing stops that. And most of your viewers and other viewers, they are at a point that they have received their own confirmation. So it matters not what I say about it, that they need not to listen because they have their own confirmations that it is so. So when I say the ascension is ascertained and guaranteed, in the least, in the minimum, they have had their own profound confirmations of it to at least some degree. And they are aware that, with numerical sequences or what have you, that there is something else at play, and in which it is. Um, so we do not stop. We keep going forward with this, and right now we are expanding and sharing and conveying more of the truth and the gifts and everything part and parcel to the ascension. But one thing uh, I wish to say here again, it's great for ones to follow me at first, but what's happening is now you're standing here beside me. So you're not following. There is really the unity. And I do not. I do not wish for to be a guru to be followed. All I do is I share the truth, and I share many things with others. So we share and we are unity in that respect. Thank you.
Absolutely, I understand that, and I know you're very humble, and it's the only time I'm going to say it because I love you, and I just wanted to express it to my group, and the followers are in like the YouTube and on Facebook followers. I just love excuse me, spirits running.
But
I just love what you said last night, that we all kind of somehow a little bit expect that there might be a savior, but that we are all the saviors. Together we are the savior. That was so beautiful last night, Rick. That was so beautiful. That's so true. And that's what I was trying to say. Wait till we all get together. Wait till our powers get together, our abilities, and mostly our love, you know?
Well, we are getting together. We are right now amidst the great unity, which is it's transpiring. We're currently amidst that, and having said that, yes, each one, you are the saviors all together. That's what we are, and we are doing it, and we are saving. You know, saving to the extent humanity on the lower timelines, but also we're saving morality and ethics as well, and and we're also rectifying things to be the way that a civilized society would be. Again, taking it out of the savagery of uh, poverty, suppression, fighting, all of these things that really are savage. And,
Right.
there's a huge thing that is transpiring upon the planet, and it's very real. And what it is that since 2012, the angels are awakening, which is you and many more. And we're doing it. You're coming into your prowess. You're making the change. And each one, when they have little doubts, well, they get their own confirmation that it's so. And You know, they're cycling upward very quickly. The more negativity and doubting and fear aspects, like doubting, uncertainty, the more they let go of, the more they rise. They
Right.
see their own truth, they see their own power. Now, I wish to say this: the moment that one of you shares something with the other, you know, in ascension, or even with embodying and empowering yourself. Every time one of you shares that with a friend or a family member, you become the teacher. And this is very important, because what I am saying is that, you know, at every level, you are all teachers,
Absolutely.
and that is given. And you just continue conveying, purveying, you know, everything that you can to spread the awareness to those that are open to it. Large portion of the masses, you know, of society, they are at different levels of awakening. And some, if they are still deep into the conditioning, they'll reject
Hmm.
it. And that's because it's not for them.
Right.
So to make it simple, for, you
Hmm.
know, anyone that is a teacher, because we are all teachers,
Hmm.
you only you only look for an open door in one. If they're open, they come to you, and or they're just open to listen to what you say. And again, you don't impose yourself upon anyone, and don't exert energy and trying to awaken one, you know,
That's
trying
ready.
to
Hmm.
yeah, trying to apply your divine force to one. No, it doesn't work that way.
I've
They
done that.
come to you when they're ready,
It doesn't
because
work.
that's taken care of by the higher energetics to awake them. And
Hmm.
also, in conjunction with their soul contract, if you are to be their teacher, to just share something with them, they come to you. And it's quite possible maybe you're not their teacher, they will go to someone else. But
That's right.
everything is divinely perfect in that sense. So make it easy, I suggest, on each of you, and only share where there's an open door. Don't push anything.
I did that for a long time, being the Aries, you know, the aggressive energy. I wanted to love everyone because he think they needed it, whether they knew it or not. And that's just not right, because it wasn't definitely received well most of the time.
Uh,
And then when I waited for them as a projector to come to me, then I can just, they open up and I can say all kinds of things to them then.
Okay. Yeah, so I believe, you know, again, in astrology, what you just said there, the aggressive Aries,
Yep,
what I suggest,
exactly.
everyone get rid of that
It's
aggression.
gone. That's
No,
right.
you
Now
know,
it's assertive. Now I'm assertive. I'm not aggressive. I'm assertive,
okay,
and
great.
I'm patient, because that's a virtue. So you do. It's kind of like you learn to get up over your negativities and whatever it is you're doing on all the different levels. And you know, while you're in it, in those dark things or those negativities, that's what you see and feel and express. But then as you hear it and feel it and see it coming out, then you can stop yourself and go, oh, wait a minute. You know, I can't, let's go back into positive mode. And yes, that's what I was saying. I do it totally different now. I hold love, and I wait for someone to come to me, and then, you know, wait for them to ask questions, and then, you know, then like give them a whole book.
Or whatever they're willing to accept. Sometimes
Absolutely.
you can inundate or overwhelm them, that, then you just pull back. You see your
Hmm.
divine cues, and you don't overload anyone with it
Right.
as well. You use your discipline, and your own responsibility with that, and doing it and applying and assisting.
Well, I kind of thought I was the only one out here. I did. I thought I was the only one that was really weird, and seeing dead people and angels and talking to them and astral traveling and seeing all these creatures and everything. Wanted to fly on my dragon. People freaked out 30 years ago when I talked about it. So I thought I was the only one like this. So I had a mission.
Well, it
you
was
know,
so cool.
it took a while.
Yeah, indeed. And as an example, I met with a powerful angel yesterday, But the other night when I met with her, I said, "You can see very good in the dark, in the night, without any lights." And she said, "Yes." She said, "Can't everyone?" I said, "No."
No.
I said, "This is one of your gifts, and it's special that she does have it because yes, and and also this is the reconfiguration for other ones at this time where your physical eyes are changing the rods and cones and your
Tell me about it.
uh, perspection, perspective and perception of the eyes. It is changing as well. And, this allows you before when, for example, when you looked up in the sky, you would see a white star. But now you look up and you actually see many of the flashing different colors of the mother ships that
Yes.
are up there because you are able to peer into our time where our ships are there. So now you may be able to see all of the flashing colors from our ships, but you may have someone that's not awakened to a degree stand beside you, or that their eyes have not evolved yet, and they will only see a white star. And and this does happen as well. But when they begin to awaken further, let's say they are awakened, but let's say their eyes go through
Right.
a DNA restructuring as well, because you're able to peer into the other dimensions. Now, some have had that here, for years, but to keep everyone online, there's a lot of us that did not have it, that we are now getting it. But I got it when I awakened in 2011 here in this physical vessel. Everything come very quickly. So you can imagine before that, I'd go out, look up. I always loved the stars, and I'd always look at them. They'd be white,
Right.
maybe sometimes a little blue sparkle after my eyes were changed. And I go out and wow, look at all these beautiful colors and look at all these beautiful ships and the rays they are projecting. So it was very cool as well. I'll stop there.
Wow. No, you're fine. I just took a moment to briefly look down into the chat room and see what everybody's saying, because I don't know how to actually leave a comment. But it looks like we have 24 reactions, 44 comments, and 20 viewers. And I think they were saying something about Derek. I tried to share, but the people can't see this. So I just wanted to double check because we didn't check because I saw people coming in. So what sign is Rick? Okay, that's a great question, Sherry Lynn. That's a great question. I asked him that. You can't peg that man down. We aren't going to pigeonhole him into anybody.
Renee, did you get you were going to do a chart for me? Did you complete that yet? No.
Nope, that was my answer. We are not going to pigeonhole this man into a box.
But you can and have fun with it, and but yeah, you'll quickly come out of it. I am a Pisces, March 11 to 13 of 1964. I suggest anyone that wants, Sherry, I suggest anyone wants to try to do a chart to use the 11 and the 13th as a comparison. And
okay,
there are a little bit reasons for that. Also, because I jump in time and
I see.
just I won't say anymore. Anyone that's into doing the charts, go and do it for those two different dates, and perhaps look at the contrasts as well. And
I'm looking at you, honey. I love you just the way you are. You're just who you are, and sometimes I do that to help people to find out who they are, to help them with their timeline, so they know where they are on it, so that they can be proactive and make the choices in their life of what they want and don't want. It's a really nice tool to help people up and get there. But once you get to a certain point where you know yourself and you know what you don't want and you're in full control, understanding you're really not at all. But when you do surrender to all that, then everything changes. You do come out of that astrology or the tarot or whatever it is that you used as your tool to get your metaphysical tool to get up into those other levels. Once you do rise up to a certain level, the books aren't there for it. You have to kind of go into your heart, and you have to trust spirit and your chores, and you still have to kind of do a lot of it on your own. So even though we were alone, we still did it. But now we're able to do, to unite and go maybe higher. I mean, do you think that we can all go to such a level, but then it takes others to help us as a unit, as a group, to go to the highest levels?
Yeah, in that respect. Before I answer that, I would like to say, Brittany Ann Murray, I feel your energy as soon as you come on there. I was attracted. She said she loves Rick's vibe, and yes, I would like to connect with you later, Brittany. I don't believe we ever did in that respect. I'd like to quickly put a suggestion out there for any of you astrologers and ones that do your charts. I suggest, and when doing charts for anyone, if they have a certain specific date or roughly a time when they awakened, I suggest to use their awakening time as their birth date.
What
And
a great thing. Yes.
with that,
That's a great idea.
there are so many reasons for that as well. Astrology since 2012, and a lot with it has changed. So you're going to get different readings, but I suggest for your rebirth, which occurred when you were awakened, just look at that as a comparison as well to what your lifelong long chart was. Now, you would just ask the question, could you, just before I got into that, what was your last? Oh, the group. Yes. So
If
what's
it takes
happening?
a group, yeah.
Yeah. So what is happening? Yes, you have these ones that are advanced here that keep trying to go forward, but no, they cannot keep going without these other ones down here. So these ones up here are responsible for sharing everything with these ones down here to raise them up with you. Then we all keep going, in unison like that. So it's very important, and the unity is totally important. That most of you cannot leave in the way that you wish sometimes. So it's best for you, a suggestion is to keep sharing with others and assisting others that come towards you. So clear your fields up of negativity, and please understand that you are indeed here for a purpose and for a mission. And if you wish to oblige that, and perhaps you can get out of here quicker, then I suggest, surrender yourself to your purpose and do whatever you can. And now, in respect of that, when you do that, the financial concerns we are alleviating on so many fronts. So do not let those be a distraction, and trust in divinity that you will be provided for. And I will say that we have made you to be most modest and really only needing a survival necessity here. So many of you have been stripped of material things, and it's for a very important reason. And having said that, you must learn the discipline, and also you must learn that you can create a circular monetary support for you that you need, but it needs to be modest. It needs to be for the good for all, and it cannot be any selfish intent with that. Or what immediately happens is that you set up a karmic thing that will just pressure you and take every cent you have. So, but once you understand that you have to be of pure good intent with that, and that you surrender to the divine universal flow, then it kicks in. And with that, you have to have patience, because impatience is a fear aspect that interferes with this and will not allow you to create that universal flow as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because with impatience is fear, and it's connected to
Worry,
survival,
fear. Yeah.
which you don't need, worry, all of that. So what you
Mm-hmm.
do is, when you begin to worry and things, you taint the magic, and it
Right.
does not occur. So you need to go back here with your discipline, surrender fully, and trust, and have no doubt. And when you do that, when that's gone, then you inadvertently set up a divine universal flow that comes back to you to keep supporting you in your mission and going forward. Now, we have been very hard on a lot of you, yes, to stress the point. We have, let's say, we have just loosened that grip a little bit.
Good.
Uh, so more of you can now not be distracted as much, but it's so
Right.
important for you to let go of the remnants of that fear, and not surrendering to the full trust in what you are in your connection to God.
As a creator, and that's exactly what I went through. I did. And I'm not afraid to admit it either. It really comes down to minimalizing to what's really the most important thing in your life. And when you
Well,
do that, you realize you don't need that much. You don't know it until you do it.
indeed, but you need to override the conditioning of the imprint that was put in there, that you need money this way, that you manually got to go and get it. So you cannot readily have your universal flow set up if you keep thinking that you got to go and work for money. You've got to
Right.
do something for it, because actually that is a manual way that is primitive and outdated, when you got this magical way here that
Right.
alleviates everything with it. So you've got to overpower that mentality and that conditioning imprint that society intentionally put in there in the brain. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to switch the mentality, and it is a process. It's easy
Right.
for me to sit here and say this, but what I will guarantee you, that it's much easier right in this day now than what it was a month ago, meaning that it's more quickly supported when you choose the right things and trust and let go of things as well. You don't wish to be controlling every aspect. If you need $100, yes, manually just do something that is virtuous if you can to get that. If you manually have to do it until your divine universal flow is set up and functioning very good.
Right.
So you have no expectations, that is so important, of what your providence will be. For example, you say, I need $50 to get some food. Well, just say
I
in
need
your
the food.
mentality, no, you'll have what you need. And then what happens? Yeah, someone, because your universal flow will provide, that you might open your door, and on your doorstep is $100 in
Yeah.
something of food. So
Right.
you don't wish to have an expectation how the universal flow will provide for you, because when you do, when you're a creator, then you're
Right.
messing up the universal flow. Does
Right.
that make sense?
So over here, you got worry and fear, and you micromanage and try to control and have more than you need and not be grateful. And then all of a sudden, you realize, oh gosh, I really need to stop and have faith. And then come over on the other side and just let's do it this way, allow the universe to provide, because I stopped asking for money a long time ago. I ask for what it is that I need, or desire. It's like, okay, if I'm requiring food, then I say, okay, universe, we need some food for the family, and then you let it provide. And even if all of a sudden something comes up and someone tells you about a food bank, I mean, there's your answer. There's free food. You can go get it. There's no way that you can go without. It's only your mentality. So once you draw that line and bring the faith in, I mean, I like to say it, you have that faith that the universe or the source will provide, and then let it happen. It happens every time.
Yeah, indeed. You brought up an excellent point, Renee, that I will annex with this universal flow. Part of that is like, I mean, sometimes you don't just have to sit here for it to come to you. As you just said, you might have in your mind, you need to go to the food bank. That is part of that universal flow,
Right.
So when that comes, well, it comes out of nowhere. Well, I got this option. Go to the food bank, check it. It feels right. And yeah, that's where you're to go. So that's part of the universal flow. It's not only is it delivered materially
Right.
to you,
Right.
it comes through your thoughts as well that instructs and guides you where to go to assist in creating your providence of what you need.
And
Exactly.
then it comes through, right? Because it once I changed my mindset, I went to the food bank.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be without food. I nurture my family, right? I'm not going to let my family go without food. I could maybe sacrifice for them, but I'm not going to let them. So I went to the food bank, got some food, got everyone taken care of. It might not be the healthy stuff that I, it's a lot of white flour, sweets, and goodies. But when you're hungry, you're hungry. And what happened was we were in fear that we had no food, right? So there was a major fear. And this was a couple months ago. So what happened is I ran out to every food bank I could find and picked up as much food as I could. We filled the cupboards full of cans. We filled it full of all this bread and all these sweets. We had more than enough food, and we got to more than enough food, right? We got to that feeling of, wow, there's more than enough food here, that we, now we're in abundance attitude. And then when that happens, I went from thinking I was going to starve to now actually not. Well, actually, I was hoarding because I was afraid that I might not have any more, right? So once I got past that and there was plenty, I went to the mentality of, oh man, we've got more than enough food. We can actually take this food back to the food bank or to some other people that really need it, because now we have more than enough. And then what I noticed is, when you're in fear, you kind of bulk up weight wise, but when you're not, you start shedding weight. And so besides the ascension weight I'm shedding my fear weight. So I've dropped probably 20 pounds really fast. I'm not hungry anymore, hardly at all. I lost the lack of mentality, which I didn't have until we didn't have the food.
Well,
It crept up.
yeah, exactly. And I wish to say very quickly, then we need to answer Robin Pleeny's
Sure.
question. But I wish to say very quickly that, yes, you can lose 20 to 30 pounds overnight by just raising your vibration to a certain extent. And this works for the ones that have a lot of negativity and things in them. But if they're able to make that breakthrough overnight and raise their vibration, they will see the physical effects on their body as well. And also with your body, it's very important to understand now, especially the ones that are advanced and awakened enough, that you also create what your body looks like. So you need to know this in your mentality as well. If you say that, oh, I'm fat, and you keep saying that, you're going to remain fat. But it's better to say that, oh, I'm losing weight, I'm looking better, right? Because then you are projecting that to be so, and you are creating that aspect, which is more favorable. So again, you wish to keep on the most favorable flow with that. If I may, Renee, Robin has a question here.
First of all, it's Robin's birthday today, and she had a really big fundraiser for her birthday, which I thought was really awesome. So I'd like to give you a very big happy birthday, Robin, from both of us and all of us to you today. Happy birthday. And she said, Rick, you posted about taking us to the next level, and I said, I'm ready. Can you explain more on that. Thanks.
Okay, so what this is that many of the angels and many of you that have been, watching the instructions I've put out, there are some that have excelled, that they are ready to begin to create on a much more effective and expansive rate. So there are some that are ready for that. And this is what I said, to take them to the next level. The ones that have gotten rid of most of their fears. And it has to be really essentially to take you to that next stage. You need to be rid of really all fear.
Right.
To not be there within you. But I can take some to this next stage that has a little bit of fear. And once we go up to this next stage, then we can very quickly get rid of that, because they are at a higher level and they're more empowered to get rid of that themselves. And so what is coming, and I put no time frames on this,
Right.
but I put it down, Robin, to make it so, and to integrate it into the timelines so that we create it as well. So it needed to be seeded, and I seeded it today. We may not get to this stage for a couple months. We may get to this stage with individuals even in a day or so. I may begin to do this, and I do it, in a few ways. I do it individually, but we will also do it perhaps in groups and gatherings as well when we do this. So there's many ways that we will be doing this and that we can do it. But what I strongly, strongly encourage is for every one of you to get rid of any remaining doubt, any remaining fear aspect that you have, be it little things like impatience, irritation, frustration. It all got to go, because you do not get your divine prowess to create when you have it tainted by these little things, because what you will be creating would be things that have frustration in them, irritation. And this is not what you are. You are a creator to create good things, to create these timelines now, absent of all of these primitive fear aspects. You are here to create the new, and you are given your angelic abilities to assist as a collective of angels to do this.
Absolutely. And on that other side of faith is you as a creator, you as a magical being. Because I've said that all along. What if everybody instantly had all their psychic abilities and they were able to do things, and they were still angry? They would go. The first thing they do is go angry and take care of
create chaos. That's not what we're here to do. Yeah, you got to clean. So there was a method to the madness, if you will.
Absolutely.
The last 20 years of many things being seeded, like intuitive coaches and whatever. There would be valuable aspects put in there showing you how to succeed, and so many showing ones how the negativity and fear actually creates circumstance that was undesirable. So many ways and through many perspectives we have seeded the timelines that it's available right around the world. But not only that, in more earnest in more affecting ways, we have done it with the internet. But if you go right back to the more let's say several centuries ago, and let's look at the indigenous communities, that their connection with creator that was untainted by the facet of the Western civilization, that in conjunction with the British monarch and the Vatican, those they have in place as part of their heritage, which is still there, that they are expanding now and going back to, they have within that their own thing as well, their own things to, live one with Creator, with the land, and with their fellow man. They have that. And those things are there, and they are so joyously bringing it back. And having said that, I am so impressed with the indigenous women in respect to this, what they have brought back, the heritage and the truth from their beliefs and their connections with their Creator, with their gods, what they had. Because yes, it was intentionally tainted by, let's say an ill intent, and they know that, and a lot of us do know that. But at these divine times, any suppression against the indigenous groups have been lifted, and they are expanding. So it's happening throughout. There is no restriction on race, creed, nor belief.
Right. Good.
Which
Awesome.
is essentially, kind of the same. So yeah,
Right.
and it is unity. We are at the soul level. Down here, you are all in a humanoid. You're in a human body, but at the soul level, we are all the same. Color, or creed, it does not separate. And this is where we're at. We're tearing down those separation mechanisms that was put here because of society and the ill intent behind it, to separate and divide everyone into countries, to conquer and suppress indigenous peoples. No, that was all done, let's say, by an ill intent that we have lifted. It's gone. It does not have the power anymore.
Good.
Rectifying everything here. And also what it depends on is each one's belief to know that is so, and keep stern in their divine authority, and do not be swayed by any fear mechanism from any societal imprints or societal impositions. No, you retain your divine sovereignty and stand in that, and stand in your truth. And I can guarantee you that you've got a huge divine energy at your back, that you are invincible. And these are the times, and this is so. And for anyone doubting what I just said, again, go out and test it, confirm it to yourself, then tell the others that it is so.
I just had a couple of visions while you were talking about the unity. I usually explain it astrologically that we all are uniquely different, because there's no two people born at the same time that take the same breath in the same place. Not even Siamese twins breathe at the same time. Yet inside the chart, we use all the same things for everybody. It's just the way it's placed. That's a technical way. The other way that I've seen on a spiritual level is on a cellular level. So I do a lot of advanced kind of healing, and I was raised with chiropractic, so I kind of went in at a very young age learning about healing, and I've kind of taken it to a new level of understanding, plus with the RBC morphology, that our cells are, when they're healthy, are round. So my idea of thinking that, okay, I can pull together all my cells and imagine them all round, right? Tell them they got to be round and healthy, and talk to them all at once. And when I did that, I said, okay, we're going to heal and we're going to regenerate, and let's add some eternal youth with it, right? And healthy. So as a healer, I say healthy because I heal and the healing goes through me. But what I found out in there on a quantum level lately, especially under my quantum hypnosis with my higher self, inside there, that cell has a tiny little nucleus. And to me, that's where the creator is, right? Because that's where life begins, through that nucleus of the cell. And so I see the creator in that nucleus energy. But what about all the other energy? And inside my hypnosis, they said to me, when I asked, because my only question was, where is everyone? So they told me, and they said, inside your cell, in that energy that's around the nucleus, is the energy of everybody. So whether it's everybody's in one cell or each cell has the energy of each other person, because we have billions of cells, right? That there would be enough energy to hold the whole collective conscious inside your body. And to me, that meant that anytime I want to connect to anybody, I can just go inside myself, because they're in either one of my cells somewhere in that body, it's their cell, or they're a part of the collective, which is inside every cell around my creator. And then I can, that's how I feel like I can tap into anyone around the world, or in another time, or another planet. It doesn't have to be just here. It's a collective conscious of all, right? That's kind of how I just saw it lately. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that is most beautiful. And metaphysically, actually, this is the way, that you do cure your body and change it, is that you are an energetic connection to God. So then when you bring it more into your body to create changing your body, what you do is you project from your consciousness into the nucleus of your cell the intelligence. So then you have now connected from the Godhead and you directly into each nucleus within each cell, which are billions and trillions within your human body. And it's at these levels then, when you have mastered to do this, that yes, you began to reverse the aging processes, you began to cure every disease that is imaginable that you ever could have had. But again, these are your creation abilities to do it. And many in the past have done it. Miraculous cures, they say. But really, once everyone knows how to do it, there is no sickness or no more miraculous cures, because it's just the way you cure yourself. And when we reach these levels of it, but the biochemistry, yes, is indeed very important as well. And when you get down on the cellular level, as you were saying, you got your round cell with a little nucleus in there. What happens with this cell when you got your nucleus in there doing the work? uh, if you have a lot of chemicals in your synthetic chemicals as well, if you had them in your physical body, what they actually they diminish the energy in each one of your cells, that you are not able to generate the energy to create bigger fields. So in the initial ways, in the initial process of purifying your body to get to this stage where you can cure it, it is most perfect and essential to eliminate all chemicals you are putting in your body. And they were intentionally put there in processed foods, have them sodas, all
not my Coke. You mean my Coke is chemicals?
Coke is actually poisoned. Didn't you see how it eats rust? And yeah, it is. It's totally poisonous. And also down in California, one of them batches, wasn't it 12 children died instantly almost from drinking it at a party a few years ago?
Oh, no.
So yeah, indeed. No, it's totally toxic, but that's your choice if you wish to keep drinking it. But
it's my last life.
And also, with the makeups, they tackled they tackled the women by putting all the chemicals in the makeup, and it creates rapid aging process that they got to keep buying more and more, to cover it up. And but there are chemicals there that gets into your body. But I will say, for the females, that there are a lot of natural lines, that are we have seeded hair that are beginning to expand. If you wish to wear makeup, there are natural choices as well. But it is very important with your physical body what you do put into it, because if you're trying to go forward and prepare your physical body for walking in the other dimensions with your consciousness, well, it has to attain a certain frequency. And if you have all of these chemicals like sulfates and aluminum in there, they act as dampeners and suppressors and inhibitors to your dimensional abilities. So if you wish to, be more
Perfect.
expert at going into the other dimensions
Right.
with this physical body, yeah, you are responsible for taking care of it to such degrees as you are. And now, like again, having said this, I'm smoking a natural cigarette right now, but
Right.
when you buy the bought ones, they are laced with what 5,000 chemicals, and you are putting them in your body. Now, when you reach such a level that you understand how to energetically cure your body, as you said, I can diminish the effects by using that energy, but actually, it's not a good thing to expend that energy when you can be using it to awaken more at this time. So it's good to
Absolutely.
keep you can, eradicate all the chemicals very quickly in your body once you reach a certain state. But
Right.
it's good now to manually do it so that you actually reach that higher state more powerful, and that you don't need to be distracted and waste time rapidly trying to purify the physical body. I'll stop there because this is a lengthy subject. But
Well,
nevertheless,
that's
yeah,
okay.
go
There's
ahead.
a couple more to jump into right over here that I want to kind of address, but you're absolutely right. I did it on purpose because I just had too much. So I learned that certain things would help control it. Okay, so when I walked in at five, so I've been wide awake in a world that isn't not necessarily right, and it was hard for me. It was very hard alone, and I'm totally not into drugs. I'm totally not into meds. It definitely affects me, and I'm already flying on my own. I'm high on life. I don't need it. But I will admit, because it was brought up here, and if you don't want to discuss it, you can. But in our states and many of the states, it is legal now for medical marijuana. And it was the only thing for me that I could self medicate with and keep all the visions that I was seeing all the time and all that higher energy. It helped keep me more mellow, and it calmed me down and helped me dumb me down and keep me more, on a normal level with everyone else to survive 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. But I must say that a natural progression of wanting to better my health, better my spirit. And now that I realize that that it's time to go,
Yeah,
that it's time to go. It's time now that I don't, oh shoot, now I got to stop and detox the rest of it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I already did that.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, in each, as you mentioned before, there's an individual basis with it, and each must follow their own guidance. And again, I don't tell people what to do. I put out the suggestion, but again, I must speak my truth. And when I put out an update a few days ago, I had to mention alcohol again. That
Right.
for this ascension, and I give just only two reasons why it should go if you wish to advance yourself. And again, one of those reasons are it affects your behavior and your reactions and where you will go with divinity. It's most favorable and higher uh,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have something that is influencing what you do. For instance,
Absolutely.
uh, let's say I'll use an example. Let's say you have two shots of or four shots of whiskey. You're unable to drive, really, by laws
Right.
and things. So
Right.
what happens is that you say, "Oh, I better stay home." But in the meantime, if you had not drank that, you might have got a divine call to go out somewheres that you might have met someone, that's important, that's in line with your advancement in your divinity. So, if you look at alcohol like that, it does influence as well as the chemical drugs, and but
Right.
also with the alcohol, what I was given, it does interfere with the rewiring process,
Right.
and also alcohol and fermenting fruits with certain ones. And you could just check at certain periods, you'll see that, ones that are following their body, and following their guidance, they may just say, well, for some reason, I don't feel like I'm going to have some oranges or whatever. Well, it's because, you know, it's their soul giving them exactly what they should just be away from, especially the citric acids during a
Right.
certain time of their physical body's DNA being changed. Because, you
Right.
know, acids from citrus fruits, when you get down to the RNA, uh, the uh, the RNA, that's your nuclei acids, let's say, and it's down there, which is part of your DNA that is being changed. So if you're interfering that process with acids and even alcohol, you are disrupting the chemical transition of rewiring your DNA and attaching the third strand, which is your angelic abilities, essentially. So this is why, you know, I put out, you know, that you should not, and I give you reasons why, but it's, you know, it's each one's choice what they do. But I have seen also that no, you do not have the full free will of that choice, because there are times when there's divine intervention. Let's say if you were drinking alcohol, you had many thoughts that you should quit, and but you continue, then let's just say you have 2 glasses of wine some night and you find you become incredibly sick for 2 or 3 days after. And
Or
that makes,
worse, get pulled over. That's a
well,
quick
it's not
wake up
about
call,
pulled
is to
over.
get pulled over.
Well, what you actually do is pull your own body over from
Right.
the ascension curve going up.
Right.
But, you know, it's each one's choice. But what I'm saying is sometimes it's divinely assured that you do quit. You can become
Right.
very sick by drinking the alcohol if you must quit while the process gets done with the human body. The same with meat. If someone needs to quit it and they do not, well, then they can become very sick, because then it's divinely handled between divinity and the soul contract that knows everything. And they get together, divinity, soul contract said, no, we got to get this physical body in line, so we're going to make it very sick when it eats meat, because we're ready for the next development of the DNA and part of their restructuring, becoming a crystalline physical vessel out of the old primitive carbon based as well. And you also need the crystalline body to be able to rapidly change frequencies to go into the other dimensions with the physical body. There are physical laws, physics laws that apply that allow you to take the human body into the higher vibrations. So this also is in conjunction with the ascension, and that's why it's important the human vessel is prepared to the certain degree to be able to stay in the higher dimensions. Because if not, what ones of you up here will see that ones that, you know, because they didn't want to make it, they will not make it. That it'll appear like they died, but that is what they wanted to do, the level they wanted to be on the ascension. But most that are here, we wish, you know, to keep going forward with it. So part of that process is paying attention to the physical vessel.
Oh, how nicely put. And the only thing I do want to I want to add one more, because the discussion that was going on that I just kind of peeked at a little bit, is that if alcohol just never really worked with me. Every time I drink, I need to keep my I need to stay. I need to be able to think clearly. Just talking about it, I get flustered.
Yeah.
But the meds are the things that, you know, being with the chiropractic, that I spent most of my life in chiropractic clinics, running them to every level, but being one. And the meds. Okay. So if you're still on that first level of healing, okay, and you've got issues which tend to stick to kind of emotional things, and when you can learn to heal yourself, you can get into a whole nother level. But as you're going through that, they love to give us the meds, Okay, and you get stuck on those meds, and talk about a block and deterrent there in your system. So what I'm finding now, that when the medical came up, there is a lot that the natural herb itself can heal instead of all these meds. And while you're doing it, it's also enlightening you, because it's, you get up there with the THC, right? So it opens up your mind, and maybe while you're up there, you might really connect and somehow, understand that you're responsible for all your actions and why everything's going on within you. And then when you take that responsibility, you can change. We've seen people that have had cancer and completely come out because they changed their mindset. We've seen people who literally have passed and come back with the understanding of, oh God, I got to speak myself and be me. And then everything was completely different when they came back, because they had an understanding of the way it should be or could be. And so if there's a process, and the reason I'm bringing it up, because if there's a process where you're on a lot of meds and you're trying to get to that next level, sometimes the medical marijuana actually can help you get off the meds and help certain things like, like cancer and like epilepsy and certain and PTSD, and different things, that it can actually help you to a certain level. And then once you get to where you're handling it yourself, then you come over here and you're in spirit. And then when you're up in spirit and running energy all the time, you just naturally are in that more spirit mode, like and you want to be better, and you want to grow and evolve and for yourself, and then you make those decisions to change.
Well,
It's a
exactly.
process.
Yes, but if we may, let's look at this. What the meds are designed to do, again, is to suppress an individual and to accumulate in their body, diminishing the energy. And also, upon one's thoughts that they need meds, then they restrict themselves to it and they continuously stay sick and get sicker. But what
Right.
happens when one is divinely awakened enough that they say, forget the meds, go to the holistic approach, or, even with medicinal marijuana, when they go there, what happens is that they are no longer taking the chemicals in. So they are actually detoxing from the chemicals, which is creating and energizing their consciousness in their field, where they learn that what the what the medications did. Then they also are introduced to more of the holistic natural approaches to empower their body more, and it is a progression. But what I'm saying is that anyone on the meds, yeah, it blocks your consciousness from the higher truths. And this is also, it's ascertained that anyone on the meds, that through different ways, that when it's time they do leave the meds, then they begin to embrace, let's say, an alternative holistic thing. And but also by going with the holistic medicine, or assistance, what they also do is they activate their higher consciousness, which at that time kicks in and tells them, hey, you can heal your body with your mind. So again, then that by keeping positive and intentionally, as we spoke about before, putting your God consciousness right down in the cell, then you begin to see that no, you don't need meds, and that actually meds was keeping you down, keeping you sick, and keeping you suppressed. Then you begin to rise, and your body begins to change, it regenerates, and what have you. Now, in the past, having said this, and also crystals are good things to keep in tune, but having said this, the human physical vessel in the past, approximately every 7 years, every cell in the human body had created a new one.
That's right.
But what was happening, it's a great regenerative process, but what was
Yeah.
happening over, if someone was 49 years old, 7 times they had uh, new cells in their body, but they kept getting older. And the reason why that is because within the cells in their body, they kept accumulating junk. So as new
Right.
cells are formed, when new cells are formed, they are created from the other cells, from a mitosis. And if there's chemicals in that other cell, well, guess what? Your new cells
Mhm.
has chemicals in there. Then you keep eating the processed food, and
Yeah.
you're in that aging cycle, which
Yeah.
implodes. The
Right.
human vessels can live forever. Is the way that they're designed. You can take them, yeah, through
Yes.
many dimensions, and this is the knowledge, that we're giving back here. But we're not just putting it back as knowledge. You get your own confirmations to know that this is real during different parts of your process. But yeah,
Yeah, it's like telling your cells, do it.
hold it.
I know that yes, go ahead.
I have to say this, but since 2012 on, the
Right.
human vessel now is changing every cell in its body at a more rapid rate. Some are changing every 3 years, every cell
Wow.
in your body. Yes, it is
Wow.
changed. So this is why it's so more important to keep refining, the things that you put in the physical vessel. But it's regenerating more at a rapid speed for those individuals that are advancing quickly along. The other ones may be at 5 years, maybe 7 years yet that are not
Right.
awakened. But as they begin
Wow.
awaken, the process of regeneration speeds up for them as well, because their physical body is connected to their energetic field and where they're going. Therefore, everything is connected, and the physical body has to go with their energetic field. So it's assured
Right.
on a subconscious level that the physical body starts shedding its skin very quickly. You'll start bleeding, the females more profusely.
Mhm. And liquid,
On
losing
your
liquid.
cycles, you'll
Yep.
have blood coming out of your nose, out of your skin when
Yep.
this process begins. And but it's all part of that detoxing process that you activate, and it kicks in very quickly. And it's also part of, in parcel with the discomfort that one's usually experience when they just begin the awakening process. And this is why
Right.
we label it as ascension symptoms, because that's what
Right.
it is. You could
Right.
have someone with blood coming out of every part of their body and go
And
to
it's
an
still okay.
orthodox medical doctor, and they'll say you're nuts, there's nothing wrong with you,
There's nothing wrong.
because it's happening like in a different dimension as well, that they actually 3 4D doctors are oblivious,
Right.
most of them, what is happening. But I will say that it's very appreciative to see transition of the orthodox doctors into the holistics, and I've witnessed that, which is so beautiful, because these doctors
Right.
are also preparing for these new timelines we're creating. So they're transitioning from the orthodox into the holistic, which is very important.
Thank
And these
God.
doctors also, what they're putting out to the masses in between this transition, they're shooting out the truths around the world about the dangers of chemical medicines and the pharmaceuticals. But again, that everything is perfectly and divinely arranged, because we are creating the new timelines, transitioning away from medications, pharmaceuticals, and GMOs, everything that does not apply. Fossil fuels. We are transitioning very rapidly away from there, because with fossil fuels, the
Right.
technology has been here upon the surface of the planet um, 123 years ago, that you did not even need it then. And without getting too much in that, well, simple magnets and creating a
Yep.
continuous electrical current
Yes.
creates energy. And you don't
Yes.
need any gas or water or anything to do that. You just set it in motion like a windmill, in the water. These are the things.
I'm so glad you got that too. Yeah, and I think that's a Cryon is talking about the magnetics and the yeah, it's
These are actually
yes.
propulsion systems from some of our more primitive ships, the way that they
Oh,
divide
right.
space and time as well, because you can create a frequency by the magnetics that will transport you to other timelines and other places as well. And this is also the mechanics of how you create the time machines with Tesla and Einstein.
Right.
Has done some of that work on it, and some other major physicists that I will not announce. But some of those came from Nazi Germany, because they had a lot of this teleportation, time travel done in place with Hitler there.
That's
And
right.
yeah, so many, it's, yeah, let's get off of
Yeah.
that because that's a broad subject. But
Yeah, yeah,
again,
yeah.
that's
But
what
gosh,
happened.
that's a
Yeah.
whole nother discussion. Yeah, and that's because once you get on those quantum levels, we should just have a quantum discussion because God, I would just like to just talk to, someone for a little while just to be able to let it out of my head.
But
But
also CERN facilities, right? The particle accelerators are also connected to what they were trying to do is open other wormholes and, let's say, portals to other dimensions. And it was part of an escape mechanism. And so I
that's
just wish to add that. Let's get off the
well,
subject.
no, I'm glad you said it because that's a new subject. Okay, there's one thing I want to bring back. Okay, can somebody please? Because I'm sorry, I'm not able to I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat room, but I have no way to actually. I don't know how to actually type in it yet, so I can't respond. But I'm just going to do it live, or verbally. Can somebody please mark that in the comments about the little nugget he just dropped about 3 years as opposed to 7? So that it's actually marked in the discussion so we know where it is on this tape or this recording, because that's very, very important right there. And I don't want to slide by that too fast because it's really cool once you grasp the idea that every cell in your body regenerates every 7 years. You get a new body, basically. When you get that, that's a big epiphany, and it's just the truth, right? But it comes as an epiphany. It's just amazing. And the more that we're able to take control of everything, and like you said, dropping into the cell and going up to the next level, I know things are changing more rapidly. I know things are happening, and I'm telling my body this is how we're going to regenerate, and I've been doing it for probably 20 years. So no wonder everything is changing. I mean, I thought it was just my menopause stuff, but it's not. There's every little thing, like before that happened, that excessive liquid, the excessive bleeding, that was all part of it. And the hot flashes, it took so long, and I thought they were finally done, but it wasn't, because now when I'm running energy, the liquids start going, and I have hot flashes during, I just turn like really super hot. So it just is all part of that running that energy, and then the body changing on a natural level, and then dropping weight instantly because you change your mindset and your way you're thinking. It is amazing how fast we can make some changes, but I didn't understand that it was since basically the last Lionsgate, right? We had the first Lionsgate where we opened up, and this whole last year, everyone's been changing.
Still here.
Yes.
Just got to light my heater.
Oh, okay. So since the last Lionsgate, which was just recently, if enough of the big shifts have happened, then the little nugget is 3 years as opposed to 7 years. Then, my goodness, you know what that says to me? That if time is not determined, then we can do as we desire. Why do we even have to wait 3 years? I want to change tomorrow. I want to be healthier. I want to have my crystalline body done. And I want to rise up and I want to start flying.
Yeah, well, you can just by eliminating, what you put in your body, what you eat and drink, diminish that, and it happens very, very rapidly. Yeah,
But what
so
if I started flying like 20 years ago or 30 years ago? They would have put me away and cut me up and tried to figure out how'd you fly. And what was I going to do? Tell them,
no, not anymore. No. Many of us, and I know many of your viewers and many that I speak with, you feel sometimes that you're just going to lift up like Mary
right,
Poppins, and and because that's also testing your abilities. Because yes, you can levitate as
levitate.
well, and many of
Absolutely.
you, when you had your dreams of flying through the air, and yeah, these are all very real things that we can do it. But what I will say as well, there's certain things that divinely just saying no, even though you can do it, we won't let you go flying all around
Right.
right now,
Not
and
yet.
you have to use a little bit of discipline.
I'm going to bring my dragons in. And I was going to
Okay,
bring them in
yeah.
before, but you know what? I didn't have any buffalo to feed them. I didn't have any cows, so I had no way to feed my dragons. So I said, well, I'll
Uh,
just I'll just think
dragons,
about
dragons
dragonflies.
don't eat food.
I know. I didn't know. Well, back then I thought they did, right?
Especially poor cows and things.
Right. So
No.
the dragons are coming in now. So here's the other side that you opened up. I got a big question for you since you're here. Um, and I know it's a really big thought, but I feel like almost like we're a convenient planet, a convenience store. So what I feel like is when the clouds open and we can see clearly up above, I think what we're going to see is those wormholes. And I think that what we're going to see is like we're at a major cross section of some wormholes, and that we're like this little convenience store that everybody is out there waiting and getting in line and waiting for the doors to open. And as
But
soon
they
as our
are
doors
opening them.
open,
Yeah, but they are opening them every
right,
time. Every time
impatient,
you wish to create and be positive, let's say you want to, in your grocery store, you go in, there's no squashes in there. You want a butternut squash, which are very beneficial to the ascension process. But let's say you go in there and there's none there. And but let's say you want one. So what you do, you open your wormhole and you try to manifest, and you keep in your good nature and ask for one, and you may walk in a week later and poof, there they are. They brought in a whole bin of it. But you are accessing, part of your other dimensions in conjunction with your creation abilities. So you
right,
bring it into this now, and
right.
it's going to, let's say, as more and more become more empowered as they are, it gets more exciting, because yeah, you can, bring in more good things, little trivial things like a squash or whatever is good. And again,
Crystals. Crystals come through so easy. They come through really easy.
well, yeah, they're interdimensional, like your cats, the tabby cats, which I love. They can appear and disappear, and the stronger that you believe and trust in your crystal, the more powerful they are. You might have a crystal that you don't believe it can move. Hey,
Right,
guess what? It may never move. But if
right.
you believe and empower it to move, yeah, you can have a lot of fun with them, and they can do a lot of things.
It's
And
like not believing there's anything inside and not seeing anything. And then the minute that you believe that there's something inside, you see it. You see the color that's even coming through. But what I really like, what you brought up, because God, I haven't thought about it in so long. But oh man, way back, like 30 years ago, when I was in the Aquarian Foundation, Reinhardt was able to, he had cabinets and cabinets and cabinets of things he brought from the other side. I mean, I never realized you could do that you could, create a portal and bring it through. Sometimes they were bringing it through the body. Sometimes they were just bringing it through the portal. And I witnessed it. I just didn't quite understand it all. But you just pretty much explained it right there, right? You just say, okay, let's open the portal and bring it in. But most of us don't believe or have the faith that you can manifest material things out of the blue.
Well, once we will be showing this as we go along, you know, because it's part of what the Christ abilities are. That yes,
Right.
you can do it, and you can open portals. And I will maybe, you know, instructing personally when we have future gatherings, you know, showing each one how to do this. I have put out the fundamentals and instructions in a 6-page report, you know, a long while ago. But let me say that that report is outdated because we have come up to
Changed.
higher levels
That's
where
right. We
now I'm
changed.
able to put more into those reports because, you know, you have to get through grade primary, being aware that something exists and learn a little bit about it, then you're ready for the next level. And that's where we're at now with, you know, more opening. Everyone has a portal. Everyone can open a portal. They have their own individual portal back to the etheric realms and all that they are. But we also, when you're part, when you're allowed to create in your divinity here upon the surface, you are able to open portals for certain good things. For example, sometimes I will open animal portals to repopulate animals in certain areas.
Wow.
And what you will see is that you could go to an area that, if you're a hunter, or you know, if you're familiar with the woods and looking at animal tracks and signs of what animals are in the area, you could go to an area that has no rabbits. You say, well, why is there
What's the
no
rabbit?
rabbits there? You know, they are habitual uh, to this area. And so what you can do is say, oh, okay, no, I'm going to open a portal and introduce some rabbits. So you can do this, you know, and you can go away perhaps and come back 2 weeks later, and you'll start seeing rabbit droppings and things, or even see a couple. You know, these are your confirmations that it works and that it is
So
real.
how
But
about the water? How about how? Because you know how bad the water is, and how our poor aquatics are swimming in pollution. We can't really, go stand on it, but can we just use our intention to clear up the water or help
let me,
the
some do that are divinely resonates with doing that. Some are doing that. But let me say, what we wish to do is get the most empowered up, that we bring in the technology that quickly does it, so
Okay.
that you're not continuously staying down here projecting energy and trying to clean a little water source when it's most beneficial for everyone to rise up here and
Okay.
boom, bring down the technical things to clear all of the water. But what I will say, as we keep rising higher, inadvertently the oceans and things are
We'll
being
get better.
cleaned as well.
That's right. Yeah, because the people won't be polluting them anymore. That's
Yeah,
probably more
exactly.
important to stop the pollution.
Uh, and you know, that's what it's being worked upon. And I can say, you know, we are here on these human timelines yet to rectify things before we go forward. But we are also planting the seeds to clean up Gaia as she is in this lower, let's say lower 4D, because 5D Gaia, there's actually 3 Gaias right now, and there's two
Wow.
4Ds, and there is a 5D Gaia, which is not restricted below between the lower echelons of 5D and the upper. So she keeps fluctuating with things, and uh, to try to, you know, put an analogy or an instruction to what is happening. So there's actually 3 Gaias. This one that's up here, yeah, we clean her whichever with whatever way we need. These two down here in 4D, these two down here, when we drop down, we introduce to these these timelines um, information, and also we energize within ones there to begin to clean up more, to become more conscientious, just to try to put it in a chart way that it could make more sense to your viewers. It's much more intricate and complex than that, but just to try to keep it simple.
Well, I'm certainly get from the little bit when I, glance over real quick. From what I've seen, there's definitely been some really good responses in the comments. And once we're done, we'll be able to go back. And once I figure out how to do that next, I don't want to touch anything. I'm just so glad that I got you on here. I don't want to touch anything.
Yeah,
I'm just letting it go.
And you're all set up to do more shows. Now we got, all the tweaks out of, and that's why it was so important divinely to get you set up to go as well, Renee.
Thank
with the
you.
important things you'll be doing. And I strongly suggest to interview whoever's divinely put before you and keep going with it, and keep spreading and sharing the awareness on all the topics. But I will say an important thing: do not ever judge anyone's perspective where they're at, because they are all correct on this. And
Absolutely.
it's good to discuss it and bring things out, but never judge. It's good not to judge that.
No. I've dropped judgment long time ago. That allows me to fully love.
But
I've been non-judgmental a long time.
Yeah.
I do have some, negativities and stuff, but I've worked hard at it.
But like what I wish to say, that if we look at someone that's not awakened, they may say that God is not real and all this. What we do is we do not judge them, because it's not for them to know at this time. It's not part of their journey nor their soul contract. So we appreciate and respect them, and we pass no judgment on that. That's important.
Right. It really is.
Because
I had to do that. Yes.
Yeah, because once you do that, you degrade yourself and you empower yourself. So each one is up here, beautiful ones with this broad understanding of what's happening. You are indeed here for a purpose and a mission. You are fulfilling that, and you're doing it in your greatest light and your greatest love, in your connection to God and all of us.
Right. Yes. Well,
there's sometimes I will say that I'm a trigger as well. I got to go down.
Yes.
Trigger stuff, activate it.
You sure. Wait, when I said I've gotten rid of my judgment, you sure found my trigger really fast. How dare you say there's no God? But no, I'm totally I've been dealing with that one all my life. Everybody has their own path and their own way, and it's not for us to judge, it's for us to lift them up. And it's a constant hand, Jesus and Mary for me. And one is lifting up, and the other one, the one is reaching up for another hand, and the other one is reaching down to pull someone up. And there's no time to judge, because when you're reaching up, you're not looking, you're just looking for the hand. And when you're reaching down, if you look down and judge, you're going to miss the hands as well, because you're going to be judging. So it is full instinct to go like this and this and just do it. And you've opened up all the 3 little doors here. So when you said go for it, it's media time, social media time, here I am. When you said let's gather, I started a group and, started a gathering, whether anyone shows up or not, I'm still going to bring in energy beings no matter what. Okay. Then you did this new mentor program, but well, I want to talk about that separate, but the portals. Okay. So the portals I opened up last year when you said it's time to open the portals. And I ended up with the help of Mike. I don't know if he's still in the chat room or not, but we opened one on his property in Fountain Hills, and then a beautiful untouched property up in Pine Top that has a beautiful creek, and it's just untouched, and it's so beautiful. And then now I'm down in Maricopa, which is very south of Phoenix. So I've got east, northeast, I got way up to Pine Top. So I actually now have opened 3 portals, because I wouldn't have even thought about it. I just have my own, and I've been focusing in my own until you said something. And so I went right out and did it. And I, did it with my Lion King that was with me, and it's his property. And he gave the permission. The second time we did it and went up to the property was much more open and ready for it. So he, put his masculine energy, his light Leo fire into it too. So the other 2 are being held by someone else. But what I've learned now is by pulling the 3rd one together with my portal here of myself, that I've created a grid now. A big triangular grid. And I connect them with a rainbow bridge, by the way, everyone. So I see the rainbow colors connecting each one of those portals that hold love and light. That's what I have in the portals. So like I told Rick, I'm going to do this gathering on the 22nd. I invited Rick, but I wasn't expecting him to come. So we're hoping that Rick is going to come to a gathering. Awesome. I didn't light a candle tonight. But that Rick eventually, will come down when the time is right to here to us in Phoenix. And by then, hopefully, we'll be able to gather and have a good group for Rick when it does happen. But on the 22nd, just like I was telling everybody else, you start holding gatherings. I'm calling them metaphysical meetings. But don't get upset if nobody shows up, because that doesn't mean you still give up and don't do anything, because you can sit there and, like you said, call your dragons, call your ships, call in the angels. A lot of us have been working with angels, a lot of us. So we know how to call the angels, Archangel Michael is there for all of us. A lot of us are connected with Archangel Michael, and then you never know what else is going to show up, right? So I have a great big pool in this beautiful, serene backyard that Spirit has definitely blessed me after going through all these things and learning all these things. Now I have a kindred spirit that is, giving me a place to stay so I can do all this here. And in his backyard, he spent 2 years putting up beautiful lights and making it serene. So now I have this beautiful meditational yard to broadcast from and to unite with people. We can fit probably 30, 40 people. And it's so beautiful and serene back there. If you go to my YouTube channel, that's what I have on the top. That's just a picture of what's above the pool. And so the pool has 3, fountains going over it. Then he actually made a little wooden a fountain that the water comes out. And then there's also a full fire pit. And then there's the huge pool. So wow. I took that portal and filled it up and then expanded it through the whole property now. And so on the 22nd, depending on how many people show or whatever, I want to try to see if I can bring in some aquatic energy. You never know what's in those other places,
Yeah, may I say, indeed, don't restrict oneself to whatever you feel. Follow right. That, yeah, and everything is possible in this now, and just go with what your intuition and your inner guidance suggests. Now, having said that, I wish to go because I do have a meeting with one that carries the Archangel Michael essence, right. And we had scheduled to have a meeting tonight. It's very important. He's coming here. We're sitting down, visiting together, and talking about some of the future aspects and those sort of things. And also, my heater's gone out, so I got to change my tank of propane because it's cooling down in here, and divinity is cold. And so, if it's anything for another show, let's leave.
Absolutely.
Some things. I believe we touched on so many things. It's been
we didn't talk about you. We didn't talk about your stuff. So I'm gonna let you go though. No, but it's okay. No, it's okay because I'm gonna let you go when you're ready. You just go ahead and you can leave when you're ready, and then I will continue to talk about the 3 things that we're doing right now that I'm really excited about, because it's me too. I'm involved too.
Indeed, it's all of us. Yes. Okay, so I love all of you. Thank you so much for viewing, and I enjoyed this immensely. We have, things set up here for the future, and yeah, it's a beautiful time. So kiss.
Yes, I would absolutely love to have you back. Absolutely. Peace and love and light. I love you, brother.
Okay, goodbye, everyone. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Rick.
You're welcome, and thank you, and thank everyone so much. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See? Isn't he awesome, everyone? I told you how great he is. You know, he's just like talking to Jesus. So I brought in my Mary Magdalene energy for everyone. Isn't he just so awesome? I can't believe how long it took to get going. But if you want to stay, that would be awesome, because I kind of want to tell you what he's doing. Besides calling the portals and calling in your ships, I've been putting lots of posts in my timeline about him and everything, so you can follow through with him if you want to. But the three things he did, besides saying social media expansion right now, so that means all of you, any of you that have been feeling anything that you want to do or need to do or should do, go ahead and do it. There's no restrictions, no restraints, and that's what Rick is saying all the time. No restrictions, no restraints. So, look, everyone, if I can do this, you can do this. We all have something to say. And number one, we all have a story. And that story is what got us to here. Okay, and everything's divinely synchronistic, and yet we're free willing our way right through our divine synchronicity. So it is so important. First of all, the call to social media expansion is now. If you had any fears or any doubts, do whatever it is that you can do to just turn on the camera, just start writing, doing blogs, whatever it is that you do. Tell your story, write a book, whatever it is, to go do it. That this is the time. That's what Rick is really putting out there. Is he's harking, you know, he's heralding, right? He's telling us that the time is right and it is ready. We don't have to be alone anymore. We don't have to feel so alone and so different. You know, there's so many of us, and that was what I started when I did the Facebook and the lives. I didn't know what was going to happen, you know, and I've been wanting to do the interviews for a year, but when Rick said it's time, I'm like, okay, it's time. And so I turned my camera on and let's go. It's under a retrograde. I let the fears go, you know. Rick said, no, we're doing it on the 4th, no matter what. Even if it glitches, don't worry. We're going to do it anyway. And, you know, and I was like, I really wanted it perfect for him, but it ended up being perfect just the way it was supposed to be, right? And hopefully this is just the first time, because he, you know, does want to express his truth. And when we're close and connected to source and we have this information, we know we have to get it out there. So the best part about the Facebook groups is that this is a way for you to find the people that you resonate with, your soul family, those soul sisters and those soul brothers that give you so much love and support that you just can't find other places because they just don't understand. But so many are waking up now. So many things are happening, and walk-ins are what I really wanted to talk about, but that's going to be another story in another place and another time, I guess. But that's okay. There's just so many things happening right now. How can you talk about them all? So every single person that comes along is going to have their own story and their own ideas about how to help people along this time right now. And each one of those are important. And then as we connect with those that we resonate, when it comes time for the call, for the groups to connect with the other groups to become one large group, we'll have done all the work. We'll be prepared and we'll be ready for the call. So all of you that resonate with me and have come to me, it's just one person in one level of what we're trying to do. And as we unite with like minds, when the call comes, we'll be able to keep going up and up and up together. And it will be probably group by group by group, which is what I felt. And then I have confirmation now, right? So that's why it's so important to unite. And that's what he said next. Besides social media expansion, whichever way you can get out there and get out and show your light, is to unite. Okay. And when all that is, connected, we will all move to the next level, because when we're in our groups, we're sharing those codes and those light and the love and the healings. And everyone will say something to either trigger or to help heal, which is kind of the same thing, everybody else. And just simple talking can be an epiphany for somebody else. Something that you've done your whole life that's normal to you could be totally what no one else does, like he was saying. You mean other people can't see in the dark? You mean other people can't see angels? Seriously. Eventually, everyone will. And it'll be a glorious time, but we have to help everyone. And if you've gone through an experience or you've gone through an upgrade process, you're then capable of helping somebody that hasn't, who's trying to do the same thing that you just did. Because it's the whole thing about a healing, right? You get sick, so you learn how to heal yourself so you can turn around and be a healer, and then heal others, and then teach others to how to heal themselves, to turn around to be healers and teach others. So that's how we started all this, right? So without judgment, then you can open up and be able to just have your energy and essence out there so others can resonate with you and find you. And then start uniting. So that's the second thing he said. Now, the third thing he just did yesterday was start an angel mentorship program. So in his Real Angels group that should be on his event in the Spot On group or anywhere I've posted, there's a place where it says the mentorship. So what he's doing is all of us that feel that we're, coaches, counselors, consultants, metaphysical, spiritual leaders, teachers. And if we feel that we're at that level to teach, then we can sign up as mentors to be available for other people that will need the help that they resonate to us for. And only certain ones will come to you. And that's why getting rid of that judgment and that lack and that fear and the there's only so many people that you need to take care of and that are going to resonate with you, and the rest of them go elsewhere. That's why I have so many psychics and so many coaches in here, because all the people that we bring in, including ourselves, we all need others to help us. And as a coach, I understand how important it is to have a coach. Just because I'm a coach doesn't mean I'm going to coach myself all the way. No, I can only do so much by myself, and then I need help of others. And so this mentorship program is awesome because you can set yourself up as a mentor if you feel comfortable with that. If not, you can go in and sign up as a mentee and have somebody else help you, whatever it is, whether it's spiritual, business, or personal, relationships, whatever, health. Those are the four big things, I guess. And whatever it is, there's somebody there. The first day, I think about 20 of us signed up as mentors. And then we started sharing with everybody. And then a whole bunch of mentees are starting to come through. And I'm both because I need help, and I'm certainly happy to help others. So I picked up 2 mentees, which one of them is here today. And I don't know if the other one is. And my mentor is I don't think she's here right now, but she might be, and I wouldn't know it, right? I'll find out later. But anybody can join this if it's a mentorship program with Real Angels. I don't know if any of you remember 20 years ago or so, we had an angel network where they would help people starting businesses and, launching businesses and things like that. So that's what the first impression that I got when I saw that of the angels is like, this is like a new angel network. But this is where we all lovingly help each other out. And we have a wonderful process to do that through. And Rick has got so much divine education and expression, that he's totally right on target when he's doing each one of these things. And it's just so awesome. And it's very wonderful to be a part of it and to be part of his group. So if you haven't joined his Real Angels group, please, if you want to talk about ascension, higher level energy, and love and light and angels and everything, we talk about everything in the Real Angel group. As long as it's loving and healing and enlightening and good for the highest and best good of all, then it is totally welcome. You know, not promoting, but sharing what you have. And that was one of the subjects I wanted to talk about, was spiritual sacrifice versus luxury living. You know, but there's been so many things happening that there's no way to set anything on. We just talk about whatever there is to try to pick a topic and tell them what we're going to talk about. There's just no sense, because when divine intervention comes in, Spirit talks about what's necessary for everybody else that we just might not know, right? It's not about me. It's not about him. It's about all of you. And we are trying to do the best we can. We are doing the best we can to help you in every way possible. We just don't always know what it is. So we just keep doing. We just keep doing our best without judgment, and try to be as unconditionally loving as we can. And then when we're triggered and all the things, learn to forgive faster than fight. And things will start shifting amazingly enough. And if you're being held back, like Rick said, maybe you need to release the toxins or the things that are actually holding you back, keeping you attached to this planet. Because when you minimalize and become grateful and forgiving and full of love, you can rise above, and you literally start rising out of your body. And that's what he's talking about. The more you get up into your heart and then up into your soul, you don't hardly need to eat much. You need water, definitely, but you don't need as much sleep. And, you know, and literally you could start levitating. I know I could. I'm just not worried about doing it yet, but I know I can. And I know that my wings are out. So I know I kind of jumped into the fact that I'm menopause, but when that happened, I cocooned and I got another set of wings. So it's awesome. My white angel wings came out when I became a Reiki master. But when I menopaused, my other wings came out above my four on each side iridescent dragonfly kind of wings, because I took my dragon and had been imagining a dragonfly, which is my totem. And so guess what? I manifested the wings coming out. So it's awesome. So what it does is it helps me vibrate higher. And the angel wings are for loving. They're not for flying. But the other new wings are for flying as well as vibing. So as I'm learning to raise my vibe and get used to the new energy with these wings, I know that I can lift my body up and take it with me. I've been trying to lift out of my body and fly because I've astro traveled all my life. But on a conscious level, awake instead of asleep. And so eventually we'll be able to I know we can take our bodies. And he said that they haven't lifted the restriction yet to let us do it. But dang, when they do, I'm ready. That's one of the first things. I think that's one of the biggest things that everybody wants to do is fly. I've found it universal. Everybody wants to fly. And won't it be great? Because if we could fly, we don't need automobiles, and we don't need the petrol and the gasoline and all the oil and all the things that are causing all this crap, right? We get rid of it, like he was saying, it was only less than 200 years ago, and we didn't even need it before that. So we can rise above it all. We can, and we will. And you know why? Because of all the new children that are being born right now awake. So those young children are being raised by, well, I'm 55, so my children are 20 and 30, and they're going to be raising now the new children. And they must be enlightened in order to raise the ones that are awake. So all of us that are awake, that have had beautiful children come through us, have birthed more awakened children. And then now those, we're going to be the grandparents and they're going to be the parents of the enlightened children. And I guarantee you by the time they graduate high school, they're not going to put up with the kind of a planet that we have right now. They just will not put up with it. And thank God that we have been progressing decade by decade and decade. And the 80s were the harmonic convergence and all the things that happened that changed. And look what happened in the 90s. And now we're getting to, you know, the 2020 mark and the last, my goodness, I'm talking 40 years. I can't believe I graduated anyone. It's been that long. Oh, so much time has gone by, but what has increased and what has happened in such a short amount of time. Now I'm glad to know. So it's these little bits, these little golden nuggets that we get that are awesome. That are awesome. So if we can heal faster and we can enlighten faster and we can rise above faster, we can raise our children in a much safer and better environment for them. We can help raise up the animals, you know, and we can help the animals. And I was so glad for him to say that little nugget that we can actually do some population, because I remember driving from Tucson to Phoenix 30, 40 years ago, and there were those jackalopes, you know, those great big jackrabbits that look like jackalopes, you know, and tons and tons and tons of frogs and all kinds of wonderful things. And you drive through it now, and there's little bunny rabbits and mice. And there's just, it's the ecosystems just changed so much. So it's really nice to know that we can repopulate. That's like, isn't that awesome? I mean, the things that he said tonight left me feeling really hopeful and good. And I know, because I really wanted to tap into the children thing today, that our new children being born, our new awakened children are our future. And no matter what, no matter how hard we work now, they're going to be living in a much better world. And isn't that the best thing that we can offer for the generations to come after us? Is a better place to live, and not judgmental, not racist anymore, that we can all live as one on a healthy level, loving everybody, no, not fighting, loving. And naturally, just if you see someone who needs help, you just naturally help them. And then they turn around and help somebody else. I mean, that's the new vision of the new earth. And that's heaven. Right? So that's what they say. Heaven and hell is really what you make it, and here on this planet. So I think we've been through enough hell. I think it's time to really make it heaven for once. Do you agree? Would you guys like to join me in trying to do that? Let's create heaven right here in our own little world, in our own little portals. Let's open up the door and create our own heaven. For me, that's everyone loving. Wow, wasn't this great? He's just so awesome. I knew that it was going to be awesome. So give me a minute here. I'm going to scroll down. And let's see, Linda, let's see what you wrote. Honey, you've been writing a lot of wonderful, beautiful things. Self in a dream when I was walking my dog and 4 feet leash in the house. God's angel, awesome. And they levitated me 4 feet off the ground. How cool! They were powerful energy, and they had me then set me down, and I woke up, and the energy was still in my body. I ran to wake up my daughter and tell her my dream was amazing. How awesome is that, Linda? Awesome. It's kind of like astro traveling, but instead it was showing you a levitation capability. Isn't that cool? Yes, Barbara always had dreams of flying and levitating. Yes, awesome. Awesome. We're spiritually, oh, thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Daniela. And Robin, thank you very much, Robin. Everybody for all. And Aida, thank you for all your wonderful comments. If you want Rick to take you to the next level, look on his timeline. He posted on there. And you just have to let him know that you want to. Yes, he just opened that up from what I understand from what someone said, that he's now available to help everyone. And, you know, he doesn't charge, he spiritually gives. And spirit provides for him. So if he feels that he needs to talk to you, he will tell you. So he sure did that today. He picked out, I think, was it Brittany? So that was pretty awesome. He felt very compelled to pick somebody out and tell them to come to him, and he will help her. He will help her. And I'm going to go over there so he can help me too. I haven't wanted to ask him, but you know, I think that he knows me good enough. I could just, you know, say, what do you think? You know, can we do it together? But he, you know, that's part of the mentorship program. And that's why I wanted to stay on a little bit longer to tell you all about it. I didn't really need Rick here to tell you about it. If you want to join, the mentorship program is over on the Real Angels. I'm not sure if it's on his timeline or not, but it's on the event in the spot on group. And I think I posted it on my timeline. Now, if I didn't, then I will tonight, because now I'm sure I did. I'm sure I put it on my timeline. So if any of you would like and feel called to be an angel mentor, then I highly encourage you to go over there and set up for that program. And if you're a coach and you're a mentor already, then this is perfect, especially if you're charging. This is a way to spiritually give back. And at the same time, you also have the option to have another coach yourself on another level. And the energy itself that's behind it creates this beautiful energetic healing circle that is just incredible. And once you sign up everything and fill out all your stuff, there's your picture from your profile on your Facebook page or timeline or whatever, and then there's a description that you put in there. And so the exposure just alone is definitely worth it for everybody in the community to see who you are and what you do. You'll be able to be seen by others, and those that resonate with you and connect to you will come to you. Because even if they just are lonely and need to talk to you, they'll come to you. And you can change a lonely person's life in a moment with your love and your attention. And that doesn't cost anything but a little bit of your valuable time. So I love what Rick is doing. He's facilitating and allowing us to have all kinds of possibilities on a much bigger scale. We all know about these different things and want to try to do different things, but it's sometimes difficult to facilitate it. So we have our facilitator now who's opening the door and heralding the timing. And isn't it awesome to not be alone and to have validation and confirmation, but mostly to have love of your soul family and your brothers and sisters? And that's what he's talking about, the twin flames. The twin flame energy is very, very big right now. If you don't have your twin flame, you can draw the twin flame in. And if you understand feng shui anything, like I try to tell people, bringing in your partners and your higher level partners, you need to prepare for them. First of all, you need to be the best partner you can be to manifest another good partner. But you also need to make space in your life, like feng shui says. If you make room in your bed, make room in your closet, make room in the bathroom, make room, make sure there's TVs, there's porch channels for the men, make sure there's a big bathroom for the ladies, make sure that there's extra closet space. If you're a man, make closet space for the woman and the extra room. Make room in the garage, and then, like we say, fake it till you make it. Just imagine, like I say, make a list of what you desire and what you don't desire. And then see in your mind's eye what that would look like to you, what that would feel like to you. And then manifest your twin flame. Now, the other level of that is because the energy's there, and he said twin flames, he facilitated that as well. Twin flame energy is abound, so just ask for it. But there's also preparation. There's spirit and energetic twin flame. So let's say your twin flame isn't alive right now. What do? You're just lost? No. Your twin flame, you can call your twin flame and integrate your energetic twin flame with you. And you feel more, there's more in you. Don't want to say more whole or complete, but it sure makes you, it's such an add-on that makes you feel so good. It just feels like some of the missing pieces are with you. And I think that's one of the things he's going down another road there with the energetic twin flames versus the human twin flame. So that's the route I'm going right now. I believe my twin is already, passed, and I'm calling my twin to me here. So I'm good to go. I'm on my mission. I got a lot of things. So under this retrograde, I asked probably 15 to 20 people if I could interview them, and they all said yes. So I was like, oh, it's divine timing. Absolutely. They all said yes under a retrograde. So I'm releasing the negatives, right? And it's all good. And during this retrograde time, this has been the best one ever. So it's very evident that the times are changing. The energy is changing and everything is available. And wow. How about that portal? Sorry for the noise there. That's because of the Facebook. But whoops, how about that portal? I mean, I knew we could manifest out of, the energy, but I wasn't sure how. And doesn't it seem so much easier just to open up your portal and reach in and bring it through? That just seems so visual. I can grasp that one. So he's given us enough nuggets, about 4 good golden nuggets today to really meditate on. So let's take that with us and see how we come around and what we bring from it. And if there's anything that that you want to say, to add, please feel free. When you go back and meditate on it tomorrow, if you wake up and you have some wonderful feelings, come back and put it here in the comments for us, please. And then, post it wherever you want, all over the place. But please remember us and come back and put it in the comments, because that's our affirmation of doing this. When we get the response from you, we know that we're on track and on target and to continue. And this has been wonderful. I was not going to let it not happen. I made it all work. So Renee, check out Feel Good. He has videos on YouTube, plus he's on Facebook. Love to see you do a show with him. Okay. All right. I'll go check him out. Absolutely. If you guys think of people that you think I should try to interview or get a hold of, yeah, come to me. Come to me on Messenger, just like Rick. You can go to him on Messenger and he'll get to you eventually when he's not asleep. He'll get to you. And, and he's opened up, he's offered, obviously we don't want to inundate him with so much that, then he can't get his other stuff done. But when you feel compelled and you really feel that he's the one you need to connect with, then go ahead. If you feel you need to connect with me, then come to my Messenger and I'll get to you when I can. There's also his mentorship program. Join in there, and there's lots of people to talk to, lots of people to get help with, a lot of spiritual enlightenment in that angel mentorship, lots of spiritual enlightenment. But there are some of us coaches that are coming on too, on top of it, plus the spiritual enlightenment. So I'm a metaphysical minister and I'm a coach, but I'm taking all of my metaphysical abilities and experience of consulting with everybody all these years. And I already am a coach, right? So I might as well, promote myself as that as well. And that was my new leap this last year when I started this Facebook. And I'm like, oh, I'll just start up my coaching, and we'll just make this work. And boy, I mean, that was good, but it was really the psychic metaphysical stuff that everybody really wanted and connected to. So I started doing tarot. I got my first deck. I mean, I am a medium and walk in, so I'm awake and have ESP and, and can do a lot of things, but I never did tarot. I just went for the big stuff right away. And so that's big too. Don't get me wrong. It's a tool. All of them are tools. And they're just ways to tap in. And on the internet, for these Facebook Lives, the pictures are beautiful and people love it. And, it's all a way to help people on, whatever level it may be. And when they're ready to go to the higher level, and they'll come to you and ask. And now we have the vehicle and the avenue to do it. So again, get out there, put yourself out there, and you'd be amazed. And if you think that you might enjoy the mentor or mentee program, definitely join that. If you would like to maybe host a metaphysical party, a grouping, meetups, there is meetup.com, but you have to pay for it. But this, is amongst social media that we can pull everybody together for the meetups. All you have to do is say that you want to do it, go over, come to my messenger, and I'll show you how to go over to his group, the Real Angels, and then you can post it in there that you're wanting to have a gathering. Everybody's posting that they're having gatherings over there, and then people who are in the same area are able to do it. So I posted right away saying that I'm going to offer up a place down here in Maricopa for a gathering, which is south of Phoenix and north of Tucson. So I'm kind of in between the two big cities now. So I can do something. I'm sure that by the time Rick is going to be going, he said East Coast a lot first, and before he comes to the West Coast, although he might just jump to the West Coast and then boom, right over to the East Coast. But he's not going to come here yet for a while. So that's actually good, because here in Phoenix, we can prepare, and as well as Tucson, if you're, representing Tucson here. We can prepare to get our gatherings together so that when he finally does come to be at our gathering, you can come and meet him personally. And we keep referring to him as Jesus, and he's so humble. He doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to be considered, that it has anything, to do with him. But that's his humbleness, and he is so sweet and so loving. And it's just like having Jesus come to your party. It's so cool. So ultimately, if you want to have a party, you never know, Jesus might show up, right? Or Mary. Or Mother Mary, right? Or angels, or the dragons or aliens. Who knows, right? Because when enough of us get together and start interchanging our light codes and awakening and rising as a group, then they can show up more. They can come through and channel more and bring themselves to a group that says, okay, we're ready. We're calling you together. And they'll be like, oh, okay, this group's ready. Well, let's go show ourselves. And now it'll be safe for the angels and the dragons and the aliens and the ascended masters and the higher beings to be able to project themselves to us. And won't that be awesome? Because most people, seeing is believing. That's sometimes what it takes for them. But those in faith, no, we don't have to have that. But you get there, right? You get to it eventually. So I think that was it. Those are the things I've been thinking about that I wanted to talk about tonight, and finally, I can let them all out. And I have hopefully we're going to have him back. Hopefully he's going to be joining one of our gatherings here. If you feel like you want to have a gathering, then that's the go to Rick's Real Angels group there too and announce that. If you feel that you are, well, even if you're not ready, if you just feel that you have something to offer somebody, people, then go to go to social media and turn on your cameras, start writing, do whatever you need to do to get out into the social media so people can find you, so you can help them. And one of those three things, I'm sure somebody that's going to spark something in everyone somehow, some way. And if you have divine inspiration for something else, please speak to us. Please let us know, because you're being inspired for something different. And we want to hear about it. We don't judge. We're unconditionally loving. So we're always open to wonderful ideas of bringing people together and helping. So that's the perfect note to stop on. Now I want to mention that I have several people lined up. So this weekend, I'm supposed to connect with Michaela, who is the creator of the sacred geometry cards that I love so much. She's here at Vision Quest on Sunday doing her readings, and she's uncomfortable with being on the camera, so she doesn't do interviews, but she felt comfortable with me. So we're going to go in one of the back rooms, and I'm going to just turn on my camera, my computer, and it won't matter that we have internet, because I'm just going to pre-record it. And we're going to put the camera on me and on her cards while she's talking to us. And so you'll know she's really there. She just doesn't want to be on cam. But I so want to get her stuff out. Her sacred geometry and her patterns are unbelievable. They are awesome. So it's really, really important, because she's got her SD account, but she needs more social media. And since she's older, she's having a tough time with it. So I really want to help her. So she's going to be Sunday. And then next week I have 3. And I might as well just look at that right now. Amanda is on Thursday, the 13th. And Amanda is awesome. She was in here, so you saw her. I don't know if she's still here or not. She's this young, her soul's so old. She's this young, old soul, beautiful, very clear channel. And she does Starseed origins as well. And I'm hoping with her that we can get together in the same place and do the interview together, because I just love her energy so much, and she's here in Phoenix. She's someone I can get with. Everybody else is all somewhere else, and it'll all be done probably through Facebook Live or up on YouTube. So all of this is morphing up to YouTube. Okay, so the YouTube channel is going to be the spot on YouTube channel eventually here for all these interviews. And I've been working on how I'm going to do my daily rating system and readings with a weekly or a monthly reading on top of it, on top of the interviews. So I can still continue to do my readings and still do the interviews, but I'm just going to do them on a different level here. And try to be available much more often now. I had a lot of issues over this last summer, but now I'm safe and stable and ready to move forward again, and much more humbled and much more grateful. Much more grateful. I didn't go. I'm still here. So everybody, it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. So look out, here I come. And I'm unafraid, because every time something, goes wrong, it actually goes right, because it helps people figure out how to do it. And it also lets people know that it's, okay to make mistakes. You're going to. Nothing's perfect, right? Only spirit is. We're human. So after that, Thursday, you're all gonna love Amanda. And Saturday is Garrett. And then Sunday is Trinity. So Trinity was in the group here, and I'm not sure if Garrett showed up. Garrett is just absolutely wonderful. I'm going to start putting out all his things. I'll have everybody's event scheduled to start popping out with all their links or pertinent information and what they're doing, so that you'll have time ahead of time to, see who you resonate with and everything. And Trinity is awesome as well. Oh my goodness, she's so enlightened. And Garrett's so enlightened. He's so beautiful. And both of them do a lot of sacred geometry as well. I'm very much into sacred geometry and the symbols and the codes and everything. So I want to bring you the generators of those. And of course, I'll get more detailed later. I just didn't want to do it. We're all done, here. So and then my gathering I plan for the 22nd on the full moon of December before Christmas. So anybody who wants to come from Tucson or Phoenix and wants to come out here for the gathering on the 22nd in this serene, beautiful backyard and come here, I would welcome you all. And if you're from somewhere else, then let me know and we'll arrange something so you have, a way to either get picked up from the airport or somewhere to stay. We'll figure it out. I love to have a party, and I'm a great host. So just give me a hostess at that point. Then just come to me and we'll figure out the details. It's just a matter of whether you want to or not, and how we can make it all work. As long as you got the funds, we can make it happen. The other people that I have lined up are pretty much over in January. And then I do have a overall event that just covers all of them that I can post that. I can promote that one all over the place when I'm finally really in my groove. So I have to find all the groups that I can share this with. So right now, the only way I can really do any of this, and this is obviously nonprofit, right, is with your sharing. So please like and share these interviews, these events around in your groups and the groups that you know it's okay to share with. Please, because that's the only way I have right now. And please, please, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Definitely, because when I get my numbers over there, we're going to be going to YouTube and doing the lives there, and the pre-recorded. Everything that I do over here is going to be uploaded over to the YouTube channel. So for the people that are not on YouTube, they'll still be able to benefit from these interviews. So that's the plan. Things are still morphing as things change. So we had a lot of wonderful nuggets tonight. Oh, I'm so glad. So glad. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I don't know. Let's see. How many have we got left? 4 people left. I love you all. And this will come after, right? Everyone will be able to watch the pre-recording later. Sorry for those noises. I had to turn up every volume in order to get the speakers to work. So, of course, the other volume is up too. So every time someone pops in, a notification comes up, it's popping in. So anyway, how many of you are left? Let's see. I'm going to start touching my buttons now to see. Okay, so Angel Divine, Christine, Daniela, Ida, Tom, hey, welcome. You popped in just as I was looking over the list. Good job. Okay, sorry I couldn't answer. I was doing my reading, honey. Okay, so let's see who else is here. It says this is all 48. So let's see. So how many actually are here? Okay, there's a whole, this is everybody. Okay, so this is everybody, all the people that came in. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so the viewers, who are the 4 viewers? Now, I was hoping with this, they would let us see who the viewers are, but I might have to pay for it in order to get to that next level. So there are 52 reactions and 219 comments. Wow. How awesome is that? What does this little thing do? Oh, just turns off the camera. Oh, no, it allows, oh, I see, that's cool. It allows what Barbara says to be up on the screen. I'm learning. Okay, so Tom, we're just finishing. So, oh boy, was it wonderful. Come back as soon as I'm done. I will upload it back, and everyone will be able to see it from the beginning now. So, Tom, I'll give you a call when I get off of here. And everybody else who's still here, thank you. And for all of those coming afterwards and watching afterwards, thank you, thank you, thank you very much for coming tonight. It was awesome. And it's just the beginning. We're just starting. So love, 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 and healing. Lots and lots of healing and prosperity, mass abundance and prosperity to you all. I love you all. Open up and receive. I love you. We'll see you. We'll see you on the next interview. Bye-bye. Thank you.